Hey everybody, Don Tony. Wine Wednesdays. Everybody's having a good week. I'm gonna talk to you about the wine. Hope you like the music in the background. I do not own the rights to this music. I'm just borrowing the sound. I don't own rights to nothing. I just want to let y'all know. So, just borrowing it for a while. So I'm now going to turn it down a little bit. Trying to get it done. Hope you can hear it in the background. Anyway, been doing this wine business for a few years. I am out here in California, and I am an ambassador, wine ambassador for Boisset Collections, based out of Burgundy, France, and then came out to the California Napa Valley area and Sonoma Valley area. But they got some good stuff. Today I am drinking one of the Alchemy of the Senses wine. And this is a nice little, this is one of the nice wines that we sell here. And this is a beautiful picture. Jean-Charles, I think, who is the proprietor of Boisset Collections, I believe he put this together. If not, I'm still giving him the credit. This is a 2019 Knights Valley out of Sonoma County, and it is a Cabernet Sauvignon. So, just to show you what it looks like, nice, pretty color. Let's do our S's. Very nice. I had it open about 15 minutes, half an hour before I got on camera, but I decided I'm gonna spin it out a little bit, get some a little bit more air. Give it a sniff. A little bit of coffee. Some berry. Maybe a little chocolate too. Definitely some spices. So we've swirled it. We've seen how dark it is and dense. It's given us a sip. Very nice, very nice. I taste a little bit of coffee, like I said, a little cinnamon. What's that? Star anise. It might have tasted like that. A little bit of berries in there, like blackberry, blueberry. And it's very nice and smooth on the palate, and it finishes very nice, very smooth. So I'm going to share a little bit of information with you guys today. I've had some questions asked by people, so I'm looking at them on my little side thing here. One of the questions is, how many grapes does it take to make a 750 milliliter bottle of wine? Well, for a 750 milliliter bottle of wine, it usually contains 600 to 800 individual grapes, approximately 10 wine grape clusters. Okay? So 10 grape clusters can fit into a bottle of a 750 milliliter wine bottle. However, this number can fluctuate and based on the grape variety. So depending on the size of the grape, you may have more or less, but on average it's 600 to 800. And the grapes in the bottle depends on the varieties used also. So that's something nice to know. What is the hardest grape to grow? It is the Pinot Noir grape because it is noted as being the most difficult because it possesses a rather thin skin. And that makes it susceptible to infections, disease, and deterioration from a harsh terroir. So terroir is a fancy word for dirt. Where you're growing it. So that is something that you may or may not knew. So we're learning a little bit today. Another little sip. Every time I screw up, I'm going to sip. So who knows? I might be sober. I may not. Who knows? And remember, please like, comment, and subscribe, please. How long do the grapes have to sit to make wine? Depends on the grapes, but the wine will normally take, 2 to 6 weeks for the initial fermentation. So you put it into the container that you need to get started. I forget the name of the word, but big container that you put it in, the crusher, and you let it sit for 2 to 6 weeks, depending upon the initial sugar content and the temperature in which it is fermented. So depending on what it is that you're trying to do with the grape, depends on the temperature that you need to have the grapes fermented, and also the temperature, and it should be stored and matured for 3 to 6 months in order to obtain the best results. At least. So if you've been listening or watching some of my posts when I've talked about wine, you guys may have noticed that I've said it's 18 months that the wines are sitting in the barrels, or 6 months, maybe a year. It depends on the grapes, and depends on what it is that you're trying to get out of the grape, what kind of flavor, what kind of finish you want to have from out of your grapes. So that depends on how long you have things there. So I'm gonna have another sip because I know I screwed up somewhere. And just to remind you, it's a red wine. So if I choose to, I can hold a red wine and it won't really change the quality of the wine too much, because red wine is pretty strong. It's pretty, intense. So you don't have to hit it, hold it at the stem. You can hold the glass or the bowl, I like to call it, itself. So, okay. So another question that I've asked, people have asked, how does the weather affect the grapes? Well, in hotter climates and vintages, ripeness tends to be achieved earlier than it is in the cooler ones. So in other words, grapes that are in cooler regions often need more hang time, that is time to mature on the vine and to collect the sugar, developing sugars and reducing acidity than their hot climate counterparts. So in other words, if you're in an area and you're growing grapes and it's relatively cooler climate versus a place that would be more optimal, let's say you're in a place where you need to have your grapes, I'm just making up a number, I don't know, a month, 2 weeks. And I'm learning still, but if they're in a hot climate, that time is okay. But if you're in a cooler climate, you want it to hang much longer, maybe twice as long. It just depends on the climate and your dirt and everything. And because I screwed up, another sip. All right. How does the rain affect wine grapes? Well, Drought or excessive rainfall can impact timing and uniformity of bud break. So bud break meaning once the buds of the flower open up, that's when you're starting to get your grapes coming in. A winter warm spell could cause an early bud break, and if frost occurs after bud break, that has the potential to severely damage vines and impact the harvest. So, if the buds come too early and the frost hits it, it's going to mess up the quality of your grapes. If you get any to use at that, who knows? So, that's something to be considered. And it can, if it messes up the harvest, you may lose a lot of money, or you may have to figure out another way to use those grapes, maybe to make vinegar, wine vinegar, a dressing. Who knows? Who knows what you're going to use it for? Why don't you want to harvest grapes after a rain? Well, the reason for that is because the rains dilute the sugars in grapes through the skins and the stem. So when the rains also increase the vigor in the vines. In other words, so they grow like crazy and can give the grapes unripe cabbage flavors. In other words, you won't have flavor. You'll have indistinctive flavor, and you won't like the grapes. And the grapes are not going to work out well for you to do what you need to do. So you have to make sure to keep an eye and keep your fingers crossed if you're growing the grapes for your wines, hoping that the rain season is not too intense, just like you're hoping that you get enough rain. So and like this year in California, especially in the Napa Valley area and the Bay Area, it's been raining. It's been raining cats, dogs, mice. I think the whole zoo has come around since, I'd say November, December for sure. And I mean, it's been raining. We've had the floods. I'm in the Bay Area, and we've had a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, it would rain, hail, some places a little bit of snow, and then it would rain again. And then we've had fog. So it's just been crazy. It's been very crazy. It's been very, 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 very crazy. All right. And then my last question that I've asked is, what are the best conditions for wine grapes? Well, winemakers know that wine grapes grow best in climates that aren't too tropical, too arid, or too freezing. So most of the suitable climates were found to be between 30 and 50 degree latitude, both north and south. So I'll be honest, I'm not very good about the latitude and longitude, but in other words, layman's terms, street language, it's got to be in the right place at the right time with the right amount of water, right terroir, right everything. And that's what we need to know. That's what needs to go on. Hope y'all enjoyed it. As I said, please click comment, definitely like, and definitely subscribe, okay? I'm just here to share information. There might be a whole bunch of people, or millions of people, or thousands of people who happen to come across this and say, I know this, I know that. That's fine. I'm just learning. I've learned some things, and I want to share the things that I've learned, because not everybody is knowledgeable, and not everybody's going to take the time to share with you or try to educate you on some of the things that you enjoy. You want to know what it is you're drinking and why, and a little bit more information, other than it's red, it's white. It might be sweet, it may not. It may be a little bit of got tannin, it may not. There's a lot of different things, but other than the fact that you like your wine, So, everybody, thank you so much. Cheers, and have a great rest of the week.